Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Team Gravity Fight Night. That is Jack. I am Dren, and we have Scarlett versus HuK coming up next for the big finals, the big hullabaloo tonight. That is a $150 show match. Yes, it is. 100 to
150
first place.
million esports dollars, which is probably 150 regular dollars at the conversion rate.
I think you
So,
convert it a little low. It's 150 trillion esports dollars.
oh yeah, esports dollars are really inflated at the moment due to the dirtiness of them, unfortunately.
Whoa, whoa! I
Dirty
heard
esports
about
money,
that
man.
map you told me about. Don't go there, Jack.
Yeah, man. Just keeping it nice and clean. This is a family show, all right, Drenok? Chill. Deep breaths, slow, controlled breaths. Let's get the serotonin flowing through that brain. Let's get that parasympathetic nervous system slowing down,
It's going.
relaxing it,
No, it's speeding
and
up.
then get it jived up because this game's gonna be awesome. Get ready. Tell me about the map, buddy. I think you're gonna
Oh,
like it.
the map is. I hit okay, and I didn't see the map. Is it Orena? Is it
Oh.
Breon? Oh, okay, guys. Breon Terraces, aka six
Ooh.
gold base map, aka one of my favorite maps, and it's got a beautiful tile set. But guys, we have HuK versus Scarlett in.
That's right.
Scarlett 4-0'd HuK the first time. Now, the second time they met, which was last time, what happened? Jack Attack?
Well, last time they met, Scarlett wrecked, right? We all know that.
Mm.
Everyone knows
Mm.
that. Then they were scheduled to rematch, and HuK, I think, was afraid and no-showed as a result. But Scarlett beat the replacement, his teammate, his EG teammate Xenocider, 4-2. And now, finally, HuK has come back. And HuK has been playing a lot of Void, a lot of Legacy of the Void. So, he might be a very difficult match for Scarlett. Despite the fact that Scarlett, very strong player, been strong for a long time, I think HuK has absolutely what it takes to be able to take her down. Should be a pretty close match.
Not only has HuK been participating in a lot of Legacy of the Void tournaments, as you said, but both Scarlett and HuK actually played together as an Archon team in the Red Bull Battlegrounds,
That's
Archon
right.
mode Toronto. So they may have a little bit of know-how on each other, or more so, Scarlett knows how to play and HuK knows how to eat food as he watches Scarlett and makes fun of the teammates that they're going against and is the BM guy. This is just my own idea, but I say you have three-man Archon mode ladder, two to play and one to BM the entire time in chat.
Right.
That's just my own opinion.
That's really the strongest Archon strategy because you have one person playing the mental game, one person playing the physical game. So you can really truly, split the two minds in half. You get a left-minded person, right-minded person, you put them together, you got like a double person. It's really good to have.
Wait, left-minded and right-minded, isn't that two halves make a whole, so you almost have one person?
No, man, it's like knowing is half the knowledge. You really just gotta go with it. You know what I mean? It might not make
Feel me?
sense, but
I
that's
feel
like
you.
the beautiful part of it. Loading game though, quite close here. Scarlett and HuK.
I
By the
think
way,
it's
have
the
matching
exact same.
portraits. Have
Oh.
matching portraits. Whoa. What does that
What's
mean?
funny is I can totally picture HuK doing that on purpose just to be weird. Like, because Scarlett has it, that's 100% something HuK would do. Hi.
Yep.
Hey there. Hey, do you want to be Scarlett? I'll be HuK. Hey there.
Is that what HuK sounds like?
No, not at all.
I think his voice is much higher pitched than
Not at
that.
all.
I think
Not at all.
just order Domino's. Just order Domino's. We have spawning in the bottom right. The barcode. It's EG's HuK.
Oh yeah, I went shop. Been cooking more lately.
Oh man.
And the woman in the top left-hand corner, the pink Zerg player, it is Acer's Scarlett, playing under the name Shura.
Yeah.
Shura.
And apparently, HuK works out a lot. He like runs 3 miles in under 18 minutes.
Wait, is that
He's
6 minutes a mile?
Very impressive. Wow. How much is a mile? Yep.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
Oh, so he basically does like 5K in 18 minutes is what he's trying to impress Scarlett. This is a big
trying to
flirting
woo
right
her.
here.
Yeah. That's happening.
Mm. By
And
the way, to
actually,
talk a
everyone in
little
the audience as well is now very impressed with HuK's physical prowess, actually. But the only thing that matters in this game
Sweat.
is his StarCraft prowess. That's what's going to actually matter. So Scar's like, excellent, you know, that's great, but I'm about to kill you with all the killy things. Expanding to the gold base, first of all, start things off. And going to be moving on. Of course, these two players, teammates, both on Team Canada in the Nation Wars tournament.
Team Canada being pretty cool. Haven't watched too much Nation Wars, but hopefully it's been exciting. I know it's been very exciting, actually, now that I say that. 4 drones being transferred to that gold base, and this is the first probe of HuK. That probe is going to have a very sad sight to see, and for 1 second, maybe you'd think it'd be a 3-hatch, but nah, it is not. That third base finishing, or the natural base finishing before a third one, and basically now, HuK sees a kind of normal macro setup for Scarlett. He sees 1 drone and gas, just getting a little bit of gas income over time, metabolic boost on the way. Doesn't really know how to play this, and I'm actually very curious to see what he's going to do, because it's kind of like, I'm doing the normal thing, macro, I just happen to have a slight lead in advantage over you.
Misplaced the gateway, I suppose. That's why that position was readjusted there. Interesting enough, these 4 Zerglings are actually getting a lot of work done here. This pylon might actually go down. Wow.
Late. The foot overcharge is late, and now Scarlett is right in the midst of HuK. This is not looking too well. It's kind of foreboding for the rest of the match, but, you know, we'll see. Good Elrod.
Elrod, yeah.
Good
Also known as, you know, photon overcharge. Interesting abbreviation, but gonna go ahead and get that adept out, back things away. Defense successful. A little bit delayed mining time on the natural there. 1 dead pylon. Overall, I would say, you know, relatively worth it. Seems that things went pretty evenly so far. Pretty sizable supply block, though, for Scarlett, unfortunately.
That is because she threw down another gold hatch, taking 33.33 repeating gold bases on this map so far, because there are 6 gold bases, and she's taken 2. I don't want to say don't know how HuK can win this, but honestly, if you think about it, if HuK doesn't do damage into these double gold base, Scarlett's just going to be able to do everything she wants to do, and HuK exactly knows this. He's going to try to do a warp in the top left. I'm still in that golf commentator voice. Only Jack knows that, but only you know what I'm talking about, but I'm still like, okay, I don't want to talk too quickly, but do you see that Warp Prism posturing for some damage going into that base, and sadly, it's going to see another gold.
Gets scouted really hardcore there, so
2 sentries, they can tickle it. Tickle the big prism to death.
And nice move here. Scarlett knows. Doesn't want to get that ramp. Doesn't want to be on the wrong side of a force field here on that ramp. And is going to go ahead, run through here. Get some damage off, but picked up quite quickly.
As we said, HuK is very scared of Scarlett. Didn't even show up for the last match, so I mean, that may be filtering through, that may be kind of coming through right here. That potential extra third base, which is the gold one, still HuK cannot actually produce enough to attack it. And there is the warp in to do some damage, but at this moment we see Scarlett pushing across the map in the gold base of HuK potentially. I mean, there's realistically nothing there to defend. There are these adepts, but the Lings, are they gonna wait a second? That was actually gonna be a beautiful move if all the units moved out of that wall right there.
Yeah, nicely positioned adepts are going to be able to prevent most of the damage that's going on here. Meanwhile, in the top section, HuK's still trying to get this force field play off, but is having a hard time getting any damage done.
Tickle cannons just aren't what HuK wants right now, but maybe he can make something happen with that, because we do see a Forge coming off the back of this, possibly some +1/1 upgrades, but Adepts will be enough here, and the Warp Prism Micro is good, saving these sentries, and there's only 1 Queen actually here in technically the natural base of Scarlett. This actually could go very badly for her. Lings are going to be pulled back, but there's not quite enough Lings, and the Adepts are just going to soak up so much damage. These Adepts may be able just to completely ransack this natural.
Yeah, a lot of drones going down, 6 already. Yeah, and meanwhile, this force field has been blocking these 3 queens from defending the entire time. HuK has got one more, it looks like 2 more force fields left by the time it'll be done. He'll have to get another sentry in there. Does warp in the 5th. Once you hit 6, you have infinity force fields at a ramp, so keeping that in mind. Oh no, and we've got Hydras coming out here. So all the bonus damage to the Adepts here. These Adepts just coming in and wrecking all of these units here. The force field finally goes down. HuK not able to perfectly control the entire time, but going to go in and get some worker kills before all of these Adepts die, and they do have still pretty good amount of hit points left. 23 drones dead. Fantastic situation for HuK.
Not only did Scarlett manufacture a whole bunch of Hydras off the back of that, but she did have Hydra upgrades, which means Hydra speed and range, and that's going to prove deadly into this 3rd base. See a little bit of aggression coming out of her, and may I remind you guys, she still has this extra gold base, but was HuK's damage good enough to actually make a difference? 23 workers killed, Jack Attack. That is a lot of workers, but we're going to see if Scarlett can even up the score. 2 pylons and 2 cannons. Will that be enough to hold this 3rd base? I think it actually may be. Scarlett deems that it is enough and is just going to pull back onto her own creep, and I'd like for her to get her economy up. Maybe she's got a Spire, might as well get some mutas, control the air, and just go into a long game where she has a slight lead possibly now? Do you think the 23 workers makes it even because of the gold bases?
Yeah, well, she had to build a lot of drones here, and all those drones are not units. So she doesn't really have the capability to move in and attack. There was that moment of vulnerability there for HuK where he lost most of his army getting that damage done, but he was able to just make enough units to defend there. So Scarlett, recognizing that, went heavy into the drones and almost has caught up by now. We do see the Lurker Den on the way. Lurker Den, the longest thing to build in StarCraft. It takes longer than a hatchery. It takes longer than anything else in the entire game. So in about 1.5 million years from now, Scarlett will actually be able to build lurkers. In the meantime,
my disruptors! Taking out, like, I don't know how many queens, but like 5 or 6 queens right there. So many queens go down, and there's Hydras, but funnel thing enough, off the back of the disruptors, there's really nothing here to defend.
Yeah, there's
really nothing here to attack.
Yeah, got to keep that disruptor alive here, and even getting some zealots into the mineral line for 8 worker kills during that. Really good presence of mind here from HuK to be able to continue to do that economic damage and force Scarlett into continually building drones here. And still being down at 49, just not a nice place. Not a place that you want to be at. Really got to be careful about this disruptor. Gets focused down, first disruptor. Lose the Mutalisk for it. Fine trade for any Zerg player. 1 muta for 1 disruptor. Make that trade all day long. No problems at all. And the Lurker Den is finally finishing up here. Keeping that in mind, HuK going heavy cannon for defense here up on this high ground base, which I think is really cool. Not really a structural setup you usually see in maps in StarCraft 2, but we have this sort of high ground up in the front. But in the meantime, a little bit of harass coming through with the Mutalisk. 3 lurkers on the way, and my favorite thing, +2 in Blink. It's been good since day 1 of Wings of Liberty Alpha, and it is still good today.
Definitely that will do well against the mutas and also with the cannons. As you mentioned before, the map architecture of the new maps and Legacy of the Void are really cool. And one thing I'd like to point out is the fact that Scarlett is going Hydra Muta. Now that is an incredibly gas-heavy composition.
Yeah.
She does have about 2,400 gas a minute. That is, I think, 8 times 300. It's 8 extractors and about... Sorry, not
going to be moving in here, and the lurkers are in good position. They're on hold, and she unleashes their power. Nicely done, but unfortunately, getting the kills down. Not really waiting until the whites of the Protoss eyes were able to be seen there. There is no detection here, so pulling the trigger a little bit early on those hold fire lurkers, losing a lot of the.
Oh, but now there's an observer coming out of the back
here. Observer is in position, but this is just really tough. Nice force fields allows HuK to zone here. Could be able to take out this base pretty quickly, but it looks like he's trying to focus on this engagement, focus on the battle here. Oh no, the lurkers are here! Almost all the lurkers go down there in what is a phenomenal play from HuK. That's it, GG.
Whew. But what I was going to explain right there is that she was making Hydra Muta at the same time, and off 4 bases you get about 1,200 gas a minute, and I mean, I don't know how she could produce enough. You saw it right there. Yeah, she had cool lurkers. Yeah, she had mutas, but she actually just didn't have enough of one unit. If she had, whether it be a ton of mutas or a ton of hydras, maybe she could have done something. But I feel like her gas was so spread up that she didn't really have enough time to actually accumulate a large army to do anything. There wasn't that much DPS coming out other than the lurkers, where you would normally see maybe Roach Ravager versus Protoss.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the Scarlet's money was invested in tech, so the army size was a little bit smaller, but I think the critical mistake that Scarlett made in that engagement is not waiting longer with those hold position lurkers, or hold fire lurkers, really only able to get, I think, like 2 stalker kills and bruising a little bit of the army. Had she waited until that army was right on top of those 3 lurkers and then pulled out, it could have been a completely different story there.
It definitely could have been a different story. And I think like as you were saying, it's just 1 or 2 extra seconds right there for her to actually be able to do that damage and get that third volley off of lurker shots, which would have really just decimated the forces. But yeah, in the end, not quite able to make it. Game 1 going to HuK. I'm really curious to see her compositions because last night I was watching No Regrets stream and he played her like 7 or 8 times in a row in ZvZ and was always kind of trying something new. That's what I was talking about Hydra Lurker, or sorry, not Hydra Lurker, Muta Lurker. He went like, yeah, Muta Lurker or Muta Hydra, that doesn't come to your head when you're like, what is a composition that complement each other? That doesn't quite come to your head. And so I'm curious to see what she's going to do on a different map, even though that first one was, okay, I'm going to take 2 gold bases right off the bat. How will she adapt into another map and maybe do the same thing? Potentially Ruins of Ceres. Take a quick 3rd base. Quick 3 hatch before pool, possibly.
Definitely possible. It's one of those big maps. And to get back a little bit to what you were saying, I think that because the Disruptor is the main countermeasure to the Lurker at this point in time for Protoss, having the mutas there, getting in the right position, sniping them out might be something that works out if the positioning is right. But we are in our game now, so we have our 2 players here spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. This player is up 1-0, the blue Protoss, HuK.
And the other player in the top right-hand corner down 0-1. It is the pink Zerg player, Acer's Scarlett. Or Shura, which chat says means Sasha or Alexandra. I know it's a big gap between those names, but evidently that's what it means. Like, it means she's dead or she's alive. I'm not sure which one, like, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I actually taught rudimentary gymnastics to small children. There was actually a Russian kid in there.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Whose name was Alexander, but we always called him Sasha because that was the nickname. So apparently, according to chat, which don't know, Alexandra and Alexander can both be abbreviated as Sasha, but perhaps Shura is the female version of Sasha, which is a nickname for Alexander in Russia. Kind of like the
Google.
Richard becomes Dick, and you're just like, wait, what? Your nickname is?
I looked that up. Oh man. I looked that up, why that was the case, and it was just one of the kings of England, because I was thinking it's got to be some guy, and like, this guy's a jerk. And literally, one of the kings of England ordered a whole bunch of his soldiers to siege a castle. That was like the stupidest idea ever, and that's where it comes from. It was King Richard ordered his men to besiege a castle. Like, this guy's a dick.
Really?
An entire race of people, yeah. Because I was curious about it. I was actually talking to my dad. I was like, it'd be funny if just one guy was like a dick. They're like, oh man, Dick, and his name happened to be Richard.
Wow, that is pretty awesome. Love to. I really do. I love to hear the source of words and where they come from and stuff like that.
Because we do IPA, the Indian Pale Ale.
Yeah, man. We study IPA. We're studious studiers of the IPA or the clear liquids, whichever you prefer at your particular time.
By the way, not to toot my own horn, but I was correct. Quick 3rd base for Scarlett right here, trying to get her economy up and maybe doing a little bit of the same thing. I guess it could work on this map. We'll have to see. At least it's a little bit more straightforward to get into the main and natural from ground. It's not like she's so spread out over golds like she was last game.
We got a lot of room on this map, so it's a little bit easier to take that 3 hatch before pool. It's one of those things where, because you have the 12 worker start, 2 hatch before pool or 3 hatch total before pool, is still slightly more economical than the hatch pull hatch style, but it's not quite as big of a gap as it used to be, and the risk is still quite high. So it's interesting to see that develop. We are seeing 3 queens at a time coming out here, nice and produced injects coming down as well, and we have a Robo Bay, surprise, surprise, coming out from our Protoss player here.
Most likely will be going for those disruptors from the Robo Bay, which in a situation like last game when you don't spread out your lurkers, they're going to go 1 for 1. And as I think about it, I wonder, since the disruptor is technically a spellcaster against a lurker, how they go 1 for 1, because one disruptor kills 1 lurker if it's by itself, not grouped up with other ones. But how much DPS will a lurker output in the same time the disruptor takes to do that? How they actually match up versus each other. We'll have to see. Scarlett moving out across the map with some lanes, just getting a little bit of map control. And for HuK, he's got a start of a wall coming up, and he's got 1 adept, but that adept's going to have to gain a lot of weight if it wants to block this wall.
Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick, we do have an update on Hero's status. He wants everyone to know that he's sorry that he didn't make it to the match. There was a miscommunication with the time. Just one of those classic, just sort of, miscommunication on the time. So he will be on next week, Team Gravity's Fight Night. So please tune in if you want to get your fill on your hero, your hero War Prism. Fantastic fill, and I will definitely be tuning in for that one, if not casting it, because hero is a boss.
I guess the same thing for me, tuning in, if not casting it. Kappa, and even though I wouldn't say I had a bad opinion. I didn't have any opinion about Hero before that, but reading the exact message we were sent was saying he actually was apologizing. So I got some respect for that guy, because I know a lot of foreign players would be like, yeah, just screw him. But he'd be like,
Hero's awesome.
He's not,
I love Hero.
not foreign, but yeah, very nice. Ooh, nice Overseer Scout by Scarlett. Sees everything, sees the robotics facility, and sees the Warp Prism moving out. There's not as much anti-air as there was last time, as in there is no Beetleist.
Yeah.
So there's 4 Hydras popping out, a decent amount of Hydras, but I mean, it's only 1 Disruptor in the end, though. Scarlett can split. She'll be okay if she can split. 4 workers down.
4 workers down. Not really worth it. HuK gonna be able to pick up that extended pickup range from the Warp Prism. Very useful to be able to keep that alive. The Hydras are now in place to deal with anything that needs to be dealt with, but in the meantime, just those 6 workers down. And Scarlett's just cranking out the drones in response. No major frontal assaults coming in from HuK just yet. HuK actually taking a 3rd base here, so Scarlett is really safe to get that drone count nice and high and to prepare that economy for the mid to late game.
She will be setting it up quite well. Still only on 3 bases. It's going to be a little harder to take a 4th with this Warp Prism meandering around, but maybe these Queens and Hydras can stop. Ooh. Stop it. The Disruptor's potential, even with 2 Hydras, I don't think 2 Hydras can DPS it enough down to kill it if it just decides to drop the Disruptors down and go for the Purification Novas. For now, though.
Really interesting. Yeah. I'm quite sure it
That was
just
kind of
died.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's one of those
moments
in time where it's sort of like, oh, you just, you know, you get those moments when you're playing the game, you just, all right, I'm doing my thing.
Could have been awesome.
Oh, my stuff is, when did my even stuff crap? And, hopefully that didn't happen. But you know the feels out there, you StarCraft players. In the meantime, very precarious Forge positioning over here, very aggressive, gonna get his upgrades in a little bit
pylon
of
positioning. Very aggressive pylons.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, the fact that this Forge is so far out, it makes it really vulnerable because where is Scarlett going to attack? Definitely here. So
with
putting
Mutas,
that big
where is
investment
Scarlett
down.
going to attack? In
Right
the
over
main?
here. Directly in the main. I totally agree.
There is some cannons, there's some pylons, there's lots of overcharges. All the probes run to the assimilator and get out, but now as you were saying, the 3rd base could potentially take some damage right here. Maybe the Forge being there is like, I have to defend it. Like, I can't give up that position. It's kind of like just shooting yourself in the foot, like with a nail gun. Like, I'm just nail myself down. Like, I can't. I have to keep my army here. Come on,
yeah,
believe it.
Potentially.
Oh,
it is
nice
similar
play
to
forward.
that.
It's actually going to take off. Not going to get 1 meta. Almost gets a meta. Life is good for Scarlett.
Life is good for Scarlett. 150 supply to 100. Really
Not only
feeling
that,
good at
but
this position in the game. Yeah, taking a ninja base as well. Fantastic. 4 bases normal, and then a 5th base for the ninja base. Always gonna love that. Just, you know, HuK has been so passive and so sort of bottled up in his base all this time. Oh my god, that is a full energy mothership core that manages to get
There's no footing overcharges in the main, and I guess Stalker's going to be warped into the main, but I don't know if he's going to be able to focus so close.
Oh man, could have stopped some of those from warping in and focusing down that pylon. Ends up getting it anyway. But in any case, most of those mutas surviving, and the muta ball getting a little bit insane here. Now, this is ZvP, not ZvT, so no liberators to stop the massive ball of mutas, which is getting quite high. We're moving into the 20+ range, where it gets really crazy. That's a large percentage of the total supply, the total army supply. So you have to be really careful here for any sort of splash damage, but luckily there's not too much splash damage against air that Protoss has available at this moment in time. So these mutas have a strong moment here to take advantage.
There is a lot of Blink Stalkers, but they're not going to be in the right position to actually defend this main base. Thankfully, the Mothership Core is back alive, but the Pylons are actually being sniped at this point. Pylons are good, but when you have that many mutas, as you mentioned, Jack Attack, 21 mutas are going to devastate just about anything. Off the back of that, we do have +1 flyer attack for them and +1 armor on the way. And by the way, the creep spread of Scarlett, as usual, is gorgeous, but oh, what is that? A Dark Shrine. HuK's got some ideas of his own, but I'd just like to point out that in Game 1, the reason why I was able to punish the gold bases was because of his Warp Prism, was because of his aggressive actions, as you mentioned, Jack. And in this game, he not only doesn't have that, but it's all been the opposite. I feel like Scarlett's just put herself into a phenomenal position.
Oh my god, the positioning is so good. Comes in with an attack at the 3rd while everything just had the blink go off. Some nice disruptor shots in defense, but there's just a lot here to deal with. Oh my god. So many workers going down. We're already to 20-ish workers dead. And like I said before, really precarious position on that forge gets taken out. And that +2 is no more.
A blink up back to the main to deal with these mutas. The muta decide, you know what, you're going to have to wait for that cooldown to come back and help out your buddies. A disruptor snipe is beautiful, and potentially this base could be taken out. If I think of the mutas, just focus it down, they can kill it.
Yeah, a little bit scary though. You want to keep your muta count nice and high. Gonna go ahead and do some stutter step on the way out there. This is really questionable engagement from Scarlett here, but she feels that it's the way to go. We might have met that critical mass of mutalisks where you can just take on anything, even a ball of stalkers, but no, pulling back, deciding no, time to remax maybe just a little bit, get a little bit more of that muta ball going once again. More links streaming across the map as well.
More links streaming across the map, and as you guys just saw on the viewing screen on the left-hand side, both hatches did go down for Scarlett on the left-hand side from those Zealots, but there's no workers at those hatches. Basically, it was, okay, you can kill that. Oh, huge disruption shots going off again, but with all these extra hatches Scarlett had on the left-hand side, it's basically like, okay, you can kill that, and you're not going to be in my main. I'll take that trade and just kill whatever. It's expendable bases. Ninjas. Expendable ninjas.
Expendable ninjas. You know, that's definitely the way to go. I've got to agree with you here. This is a double Spire play, by the way. +2/+2 for mutas coming through. And the problem is that HuK just lost his 3rd base. HuK has no minerals to mine anymore, effectively.
400 minerals a minute.
Out of mineral patches.
1,200.
It does not matter. 25 workers, I mean, maybe even that's the maximum number of workers that he could even have mining things because he has so few mineral patches left over. The harassment from Scarlett this game has been just amazing. Look at the creep spread and just coming in. Actually, the links come in there like, oh yeah, is there a base here for me to... Oh, there's not. Oh, you're just gonna be coming to dead. That's basically what's going to happen here.
Hashtag saddling. Saddling life.
Don't forget, one behind Dark Shrine. Anything can happen.
Didn't he put a Dark Shrine down earlier? Did he get sniped again? He's already had sniped. But the mutas do not care right here. Yes, there are disruptors, but they're not flying disruptors. GG. I just created a nightmare. Flying disruptors. Oh my word. GG. Scarlett evens it up 1-1.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe the only reason HuK took it in Game 1, because last time they met it was 4-0 Scarlett. Maybe the only reason he took it was that kind of wonky... I know this map and I can take 2 gold bases, but I haven't played it enough to really fully understand what I need to do.
Mm.
So it was just a little bit of a timing opening, or just a window was opened for HuK. Maybe a door, maybe a crevasse was
Yeah,
opened up, a
crevasse.
sliding door. Maybe he took a hammer and just broke the window open and went through there.
Possible.
But
Maybe get one of
somehow
those portal guns from Portal. Getting in
just
there.
bypassed the window. I like
I
it.
passed the window completely. Whatever you got to do to get in there. As a Protoss, probably doing some warping though. I have to say. But in any case, 1-1, we got a series on our hands, man. This is a nice little back and forth. And that massive mutaplay was crazy. Absolutely nuts. Just so many of the mutalisks just nonstop getting in there, being like, oh, you like disruptors? Well, I heard they don't shoot up. Gonna make 1,000,000 mutalisks and crush you into pieces.
Ugh. In that recent patch, or the recent community feedback update that was actually, I think, just today, DK talks about PVZ and the Protoss being a little underfavored. You know what I think Protoss needs? A disruptor upgrade that allows them to fly.
That's right. I actually think that disruptors should throw out multiplying scourge-like units that just, whenever they blow up, two of them take their place as temporary scourge-like units.
Wait,
But
what if
balls-
every time a disruptor dies, two more come out? So you just have
Yeah.
to dodge the disruptor. It's
Yep.
not about killing it. You actually even have to like hold commands. So they
You
don't
actually
attack.
know what it is, really? They need to take some of that design from Hearthstone and bring it into StarCraft. If you damage a disruptor without
There's a
killing
board.
it, another new disruptor appears. So you have to one-hit kill the disruptor. Otherwise, it's everyone get in here all the way down. And
Everyone, get in here! I can't do it. I can't do it.
no, you did it, man. You just got to commit.
Is that-
You just
Everyone, get in here!
Yep, that's it, man. And 100% all the way because
Properly, it's like everyone, get in here!
yeah, because all of them
Glitching
just
out the
spawn
system.
forever.
Yeah.
Oh god.
We don't really love Hearthstone. Jack might love Hearthstone, but I am a StarCraft guys. This is
Oh,
the Team
shots
Gravity fight. This is the Team Gravity fight. Now I'm gonna keep talking so he can't talk. But
That's
up
right.
next we have Game 3 on Central Protocol. Just FYI, please follow Team Gravity at Team Grav. That is at TEAMGRAV. To support them, please follow below. If you're on Liquipedia, or sorry, Team Liquid, click on my nose, or click on Jack's nose, or click on my finger right here, and you can come to a Zubu. That is at Jack Attack TV. I am at Drenok, that is DRENNOC, and we don't spell Jack Attack, just so you can have fun trying to figure out which is a C and which is a K.
What are you talking? Jack Attack's the funnest thing to spell ever. It's JAKATAK TV.
Jack Attack.
Jack Attack. Yeah. So
For our
basically,
children, they're gonna be like, they spell it with like a C or something, like, no, it's a K, it's not a C. Oh,
oh,
idiots.
this word has two T's in a no. It's attack. ATAK. Let's get rid of this inefficiency of letters, people. It's time
That's
to
how
upgrade English.
English should be. English, we melded all the languages and then we upgrade at one level. Jacklish. It's a little
Yeah,
bit of Jacklish.
we need
in
to
there.
get +1/+1 on our English and get rid of all these inefficient letters and all these really weird grammar rules. Also got to get rid of those.
I mean, why even need commas?
Why commas even need? Why grammar order of sentence structure important not?
Important grammar structure? Sentence not.
Sentence not indeed. Central protocol.
Central
No
Protocol. I love this map. I
Domain.
love this map.
Reasonably sized ramp into the natural. Backdoor rocks in your main as well. So it's just one of those situations where a lot
It's a
of
unique map, and people say it's not pretty, but it is pretty. It
It's
is
very
special
pretty.
in my heart.
the
It is-
Overwatch map.
It is Overwatch. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Overwatch map.
And Overwatch is beautiful. We all know that.
Overwatch honestly is. I was
is.
actually, I was playing a little bit of today, and for a second it lagged, and I saw the actual bullets, and they're like cartoon bullets, and I'm like, it looks so pretty. Someone put so much time and effort, and I know there's so much time and effort into StarCraft, but it's a whole different genre of.
Speaking of which, how about that loading screen, huh? Now that they have like the Zealot and the Hydra ready to like face off.
It's great.
Awesome. It
I
looks
feel like the Hydra's. I feel like a Hydra just kills about anything if you really see it. Like it's got these claws that just like it like gives the Zealot a hug. It kind of hugs it, and the Zealot stabs it, and they both are like, "Yes, we were good friends, but we had to end it like this." And they both die at the same time, and it's at the end of the movie, and the credits roll.
Wow, that's deep.
Hy- Hydra's name is Louise, and the Zealot's
Louise and
name
Velma.
is Velma. Louise
Velma.
Velma.
Interesting.
I thought you said
Interesting.
Velma. I
Curveball there.
thought you said Velma.
No, no, no.
Oh, that's the only reason I said it. I swear you said Velma. Okay.
No, no. I
On
said
the right hand side, it's yeah, I think it's Velma. Velma v. Louise.
Velma. It's actually that Scooby Doo classic, matchup
Mr.
with
Jenkins.
classic movie.
Left one's Mr. Jenkins.
Yep.
That's how he actually looks. Mr. Jenkins is a bug that dresses up as an evil old dude who dresses
Or
up
like
as
Men in Black.
Yeah.
But like one leg
Hawkeye!
shorter.
Have we been streaming? Because Hawkeye left the game. Says Hawkeye has left the game?
Ladies and gentlemen, please hold on to your hats. Madness has just happened. Looks like Acer Scarlett won the game in only 13 seconds out of sheer intimidation. Congratulations.
Man,
Well done.
Huck's got to get a grip. He
I
cannot
know.
play in tournaments like this. I am
This is
ashamed of
becoming
Huck.
intimidated by, just the sheer
Mr.
ferocity of Scarlett, which
Mr.
is a very
Orlando.
intimidating thing to behold for sure. So, Drenik, gotta ask you a question. Starter Pokemon in red or blue, and why? Go.
I'm gonna go Charizard in red or blue. I'm trying to think. I played
Charizard, yeah. Charmander.
Gold. I played Gold, then I played Sapphire. Kind
Interesting.
of awkward.
Did you
And
do the red? Did
it's
you do, when
Sapphire
it
and
came
Ruby.
back though? When they did the fire red, leaf green? Did you get into that?
No. Actually, I had Leaf Green, I had
Okay.
Sapphire, and I had Ruby, and then I had
Nice.
Gold. So I had a kind of awkward composition.
Yeah,
of-
that is a very interesting
Kind of
order
back-
to go about doing things.
Yeah. Like, I'd forget about it and be like, oh, yeah, Pokemon. And be like, oh, cool, like a new Pokemon game. But this is like 3 ahead of the last one I played. So we'll do it. I think, I'm thinking about Bulbasaur, nah. Bulbasaur was cool,
Yeah.
but I'd more want him as my dog, like my pet. Like, I could, like, rub, like, I think it'd be a fun pet. But if I want a Pokemon that is able to knock out other Pokemon and potentially
Right.
send them to the hospital,
Right.
I feel like it'd definitely be Charizard. So it's like pet, fighter, and then lover. Lover is Squirtle, pet is
Wow.
Bulbasaur, and fighter is Charizard. I'd go with Charizard. is the answer.
Squirtle recently found out was talking to, I think it was actually Zombie Grub. Squirtle is actually a squirrel and a turtle combined.
Is it?
It's not the
That
fact
makes so much sense. That makes so much-
Squirtle isn't just like, oh, squirt, like water squirting. That's like the play on words. It's also a play on words where it's a squirrel and turtle combined. It's
That-
like a super
makes
next
sense.
level double. It's a triple entendre is what it is.
Sad thing is-
Fantastic.
The sad thing is 87.5% of Squirtles are male and only 12.5% are female. That is not a good ratio for the increase of the Squirtle. Like, but we don't know how they mate, I guess. I'm just
Right,
looking
it's
at
really great if you're a female
Bulbapedia.
Squirtle though, because you're just rolling
Oh.
up being like, man, I
You got
get
an
to
8,
take
you got
my
8,
pick.
you got
You
8.
know what I mean? It's
Or you
like
just
it's a
go with
good
8
situation. I don't know. It's like being in those super. It's like being in those super advanced classes that people took in high school, and it was like I don't know about you. In my high school, it was like 90% female and like 10% male in the advanced classes.
Was.
Don't know
Also,
why that is.
I had
I
that
think
feeling.
ladies are just super smart. Nothing you can do about it. But
Those
must be
ladies out
genetic,
there,
you know.
Jack, are you looking, Jack? I don't know.
Am I looking for ladies?
Are you looking?
No, man. I'm married to StarCraft. I'm in a committed relationship. I don't have time. I'm sorry.
So you and Igooz are basically married also. And because you're married to StarCraft, he's married to
Yeah,
StarCraft.
yeah.
StarCraft's cheating on you. By the
Yeah,
way,
no,
I'm
no, no,
pretty
no, no.
about
It's
gays,
just one of those
Squirtle.
open marriages. We're totally cool. With StarCraft can date and even marry multiple people. StarCraft basically is what I'm saying is a Mormon practices that.
Wait.
I'm
I need
sure
my
that you would
bicycle
know.
helmet.
If you had a
Yeah,
bicycle
I'm
helmet
sure
right now, you would probably be able to let us know all about that.
We need to do a Mormon and Brojack cast. I don't even know what I'd say. Oh man, High Templars, the storm, they really purified him, getting a planet all for themselves. Now they died well.
Yeah, I don't know enough about
I don't know either.
about Joe Smith and the Book of
Oh,
Mormon.
Joe Smith. I feel like it's a cool sounding guy. Like, yo, we're hanging out with Jay Smith tonight.
Is he a real
Yeah,
person?
okay.
Like Joe Smith is such like a person. It's like,
Oh,
oh, yes, Bob, Joseph Smith. Yeah, Bob
Okay.
White and Joe Smith went to the store, and this is someone trying to make up a story about people that don't exist. But we do have Central Protocol, and we do have the cross positions, and we do have spawning in the top right-hand corner of Central Protocol. It's Acer's Scarlett.
Was that an imitation of me?
Oh well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
In the bottom left-hand corner, it is the Dale Protoss player. From Evil Geniuses, it is HuK. I just went all over, man.
You did an imitation of yourself, like on yourself. Like that was like Drenok squared. That was a whole nother level of the caster voice.
Dang.
Man.
That is intense, but
was intense.
I just gotta say, for Central Protocol, I
Yep.
feel like each of the 3 different spawn positions, horizontal, vertical, and cross spawns, are completely different maps. And even though you can kind of say that for other things, it's just how it works in the horizontal spawn positions. If you're close, you kind of can't take that third base. In the long distance spawn positions, or the cross spawn positions, I feel like you can take just gold base. I mean, it's crazy. You can do all sorts of crazy things. You can take the gold bases on vertical a lot easier, though.
The only Zerg versus Protoss game that I've seen on the map, I see the both players, well, in cross spawns, both players kind of expand up and then down. So maybe we'll see that kind of pattern again. But I mean, like you said, like we've been talking about, Central Protocol is this really
Clockwise?
nice map because what was that?
You mean like expanding clockwise?
Essentially, yeah. It basically splitting the map vertically.
No, I got you. I got
Vertical
you.
lines
That's
down the
exactly
middle,
how they're
and then someone gets the left, someone gets the right, kind of a thing. That's the only expansion pattern I've seen in this matchup in these spawning positions. So interesting to see those things kind of develop, just because with you have the 4-player maps like that, you just don't get to see as many games that are specifically set up in the same way.
Definitely, you don't get to see quite as many games and have the same experience as you may on another map with the matchups and different varieties of just bases that you spawn. Generally, a Zerg, for me, on this map, I like to take a quick third hatch, and even though everyone's like, wait, quick third hatch? I like to take a quick third hatch, then go Roach Ravager, and just kind of go and punish the Protoss for them trying to take a third base, or confine them to 2, and then just spread my creep all over. And, you got the 2 gold bases in the middle I've also taken. I basically like to be a jerk and very selfish and just take the whole map for myself.
Yeah, as a Zerg player, it's definitely nice to do, and a little bit easier to do as a Zerg player than other players because you're Zerg, and you can just spread your love across all of the maps and give it a giant hug. Yeah, of course. And third base coming down here for Scarlett in pretty quick succession, a little bit safer, going for the hatch pull hatch combo with a little bit of gas, getting the speed up, Zergling speed, just that lovely thing that keeps you nice and safe early on. If you ever want to be safe and be a Zerg player at the same time, just get your Zergling speed nice and quick, and you'll be happy.
CS! Get it nice and quick.
That's right. And imagine, like, an infomercial almost, with that voice when you say it's like... just like...
ZS,
Order
you'll
that.
get it, and you can never get rid of it. You're gonna hate it eventually. I don't know, man.
Feel safe against those early Protoss attacks. Try ZS.
Yes. Do you want to feel safe against pesky Protosses? Try a gun or ZS. You could also just finish it before you even start playing.
It is
Don't
the
quote
best
me.
thing you'll ever get.
Oh man, this Sentry.
As well, we're gonna see more War Prism shenanigans from HuK, very likely. And I'm always
So
enjoying.
can 2 pylons kill a hatch? 3 pylons, my bad. Kill a hatch.
Okay. The answer is almost.
Barely. 4 pylons will kill a hatch is the answer.
Yes. And now we know. I need to start doing fast facts for Legacy of the Void, so I'm marking that one down on my little list here. Very good. So without a third, looks like Scarlett is going to be taking the other third, drop it and go right over. I wonder if going for the defensive or the starvation play, thinking about it, doubling back there for a second, might go ahead, now that the Zerglings are out of position, try to take out that third base again. Keep in mind, base prevention, really powerful play because of the rate at which bases mine out in Legacy of the Void. Wonder what's going on up there. Just hanging out, just warping in some units,
Little party.
thinking about doing some stuff.
A psych party, getting some studying in for the psychology test later, and doing things. Yep. Adepts.
Yeah, looks like
adepts,
there it is.
DTs.
The right moment has happened.
Oh,
They're just gonna run directly
the F5.
past-
They're the F5 move. All the units being. No, there they are. They're gonna kill it. Dang it, HuK. Why do you have to F5 that bad boy?
Yeah, man. F5 refresh your page. F2
No, can take
select
all-
army. F1.
Oh, is it? Is it
Yeah.
F2? Oh, I have mine really weirdly set up, so I was looking at.
You know what the thing is, man?
Oh,
If
army.
you don't know what the select all army hotkey, good on you, man. That's good. You shouldn't know what that thing is. That awful, awful
Thank
thing.
you. Thank you.
You shouldn't. You're a better human for not knowing what that garbage thing is. No, I'm just.
I
kidding.
swear it was
It's
F5.
great. It's it's great for people who hate hotkeys, but everyone else
Like
there's
Jack.
just a card, Gonna get away with these adepts here. Nice little move with the shade. Sacrifice the zealots because who cares about them? And giant warping in the main. Oh man,
huge.
the reactions
Four
are
warpers
pretty
down.
fast here though, so it looks like he's gonna get most of these drones away. What am I saying? That drone stack was actually huge. 11 workers, 12 workers dead already.
Scarlett has to run across the entirety of her bases, and I will remind you guys that there is back rocks into this main base if Scarlett wanted to make it easier to move from her main to that fourth base position she tried to take, but for now she's just gonna barely clean this up, and now there's DTs on the way. DT Shrine just as this attack finished. 6 DTs, and there's no Overseers, and oh man, Hawkeye, oh the DTs, oh they're swiping, okay,
It's okay. It's all right. Take a breath. It's going to be okay. We got the Hydras over here on the left side. The DTs are running through. No detection to be found. Halfway through are these Overseers, and it looks like they're just going to target down the hatch. They should be able to get it in time. These Overseers, though, finishing up. Oh, my God. He's going to save it at the last moment. Scarlett, she saves it just at the last moment there, but there are more DTs out doing their harass. She must run around and clean this up. +2 and Blink is in production for the Protoss player HuK here, and we'll just have to see how exactly the development develops as it develops. Only 2 bases. Looks like that might have been a unit going to the 3rd. Tough to tell if HuK is going to just sort of stick with this at the moment on the 2 base.
Income-wise, it is 48 pros to 48 drones. Pretty darn even, and that does not bode well for Scarlett right here. HuK taking that 3rd base, as Jack Attack just mentioned. The base developing from developments is pretty much what he said. Adepts moving out. Jack, what can Scarlett really do? How much did she lose? She lost about 16 workers. That's not a ton, but on the other hand, she's not where she wanted to be. She'd want to be much more aggressively expanding. She's got a beautiful creep spread, but I'm worried for her actually where she's going to go with this, because pretty much all she's got is Hydras, and she's kind of got to go for it. She's got to do
That
damage.
creep spread is amazing. She's droning up. She's teching the Hive. We're seeing the beginning of that with the Infestation Pit and the Production tab. Upgrades aren't too far behind, but definitely HuK in the upgrade advantage. But man, this creep spread is absolutely amazing. She's going to see any attack coming from a mile away.
She will see that attack coming from a mile away, but the top base, maybe not so much. Attack in the bottom right-hand side, looking to go into that 3rd base of Scarlett. There is already a Spine Crawler there, and the Warp Prism is ready to drop. All the Hydras are out of position, but now, oh, does she see it? She sees it now. There she sees it. Same time, we do have a whole bunch of Changelings heading into HuK's base to see what's going on, but Scarlett's going to have to be in this bottom right-hand base. She's not going to be there in time. Thankfully, these are not DTs and only Zealots.
Yeah, Spinecrawler in a pretty nice position here. Going to try to keep this Queen alive. A bit tricky. Nice warp in over here. Is going to get
it's a
some
beautiful
Zealots into the
position
fray
for her.
here. Yeah, nicely done. Trying to stay nice and efficient there. The Spinecrawler, though, finishing at just the right time. Really helping to clean this up and mitigate the damage by the time for those Hydralists to get there. But in the meantime, Big Force, Zealot, Sentry, and Adept moving across the map. This is really risky, very vulnerable to any surrounds, but fortunately, the combination of this Warp Prism is keeping most of those units back and is actually allowing HuK, this is something we usually see in TVZ, just run around with a small group of units and an observer and clear up some creep.
Good news for Scarlett that HuK still doesn't know about the base in the top after killing it earlier on, but Scarlett's being pulled all over the place. She did get rid of those rocks in her main, and she needs to be able to kill this Warp Prism to actually be able to get on and move on in this game. Hive just finished +1/1
Oh
for
man.
melees on the way. Maybe we'll see ultras, probably not. There's the ultraless den, but there's not really a bank for Scarlett. I like the idea, but for now she's just playing with fire here.
She's
She
so
truly is.
far behind on upgrades for armor, and going into ultras, I think it's gonna be really
Yeah.
tricky right now.
Even if you have something like extra armor, because earlier on you're not sure what you want to do and you get +1 armor anyways instead of melee or air, even with great armor, ultras just they won't do well versus a Protoss that has a little bit of an inkling about them. Thankfully for Scarlett, she does have these infestors though, so maybe she can just stop the army in its tracks, but she doesn't want to know where it is, but she's not gonna be able to. Army's completely out of position.
Defend this. Going to get this just barely, nicely defended, but that gives an opportunity for more creep clearing out of this small creep clearing army. And just really nice positional play. Back and forth, gonna run it with 4 more zealots. Ooh, getting the hatchery in the north center. Excellently done there. And in the meantime, despite the fact that HuK is hanging out on creep right now, he is unseen.
A bit of it up. He has been doing a very nice job of cleaning up, and I think it's more in HuK's playing field to make a mistake than Scarlett's to have taken a fantastic engagement, but maybe it is with 4 Ultralists coming out, chitinous plating and +1/1. That's going to be, what, 5 or 4/1 Ultras, or 1/4 Ultras technically. We'll see if they can actually do damage, but right now, every time Scarlett tries to go for the cookie, tries to go for this top base, HuK slaps her hand away from the jar, and she just cannot quite make it. She needs it, but with just the giganticness of this map, even with phenomenal creep spread, she's spreading herself too thin. Maybe she can take an engagement right here. A lot of Hydras potentially going to go down to
Nice splits.
Beautiful splits, and now, ooh, actually, Scarlett may be able to do a surround if she brings the Hydras that were previously in the bottom of the map near the Zelnaga around, but she does a full retreat.
Okay.
By the way, where are those Ultras out on the map? Oh, there they
They're
are.
over here, and we've got nice pack of ultras, 4 about to finish, along with chitinous plating. Really don't want to engage before that chitinous plating finishes. The DT's over here hanging out, trying to get something done, and just all over the map, just really tough to defend. The creep spread is helping a lot, but that threat from the counterattack with the Warp Prism is pretty much always there. Ooh, wow, moving pretty far off creep here. This is a relatively big investment and commitment into attack here. Hopefully the position will be good. If you can fungal these units down, it'll be a really, really nice position. The disruptors are moving forward. The disruptor shots come out. Oh, the Hydras are down!
Gone! And
Oh
those
my God.
were 2/1 Hydras. The DPS is gone, and we'll see if the fungal growths are good enough. Ultras are holding on. There's another stream of Ultras coming across the map, and maybe with the fungal growths, they can do something. And actually, I think Scarlett's pushing through this, but she's so much lost from that. You can see in the bank, HuK is 700, 700. He can make a big warp, and it just barely Scarlett's doing this, but another, oh, wait, the Disruptor died?
Just barely. The disruptor got
died.
killed off just at the last moment. A lot of DTs being warped in defensively here, and the last of the section that was nearby got knocked out. We do have 3 overseers around on the other side. A little bit difficult to deal with here, but that upgrade disadvantage really hurting the engagement, and more than anything else, those disruptor hits in the beginning of that attack, really tough to deal with.
Incredibly tough disruptor hits, and before that attack began, I was trying to point out that those are 2/1 Hydras. Not the best upgrade, but that is the bulk of the DPS, while the Ultras just kind of sit there and take kicks in their stomach and don't really care about it since they're 5/1 almost. Technically, there's going to be 6/1 soon, but for now, it looks like Scarlett's she's trying to open up more paths. But look at the mini map, everyone, really quickly. If she takes a base in the top left, maybe she punishes HuK's. But if she takes any more bases counterclockwise, she won't be able to defend in the bottom right. Even with that creep spread, it's just not going to be possible.
Yeah, just getting it's almost like being a goalie in soccer. Sometimes you got to come out of the net really to cut off the options of the shooter.
It could be
It's the same kind of
best
over
defense
here.
is a good offense.
You know, oh, and that's it.
GG.
She wins. Wow,
Wait, what?
that was
wait.
quite intense there.
Well,
It
HuK was completely mined out of all his bases, so I guess he needed that.
yeah, well, 76 supply to 180 at that point. So it was a good call for HuK. He was pretty
Which was good.
significantly behind there. Just the economic play there from Scarlett won her that game.
Even so, earlier on, or what I was just mentioning with Ultras, even though they didn't do damage, still 5/1 Ultras tank a lot of damage, allowing the Hydras to do the DPS in those battles. But I was I'm surprised she won economically only because in the beginning, HuK was doing such a phenomenal job of denying her and just pushing left and then pushing right, pushing left and pushing right, pulling her apart, and she really kept cool and was actually able to deal with him quite well.
Yeah, and Scarlett was able to stay on 3 base against the 2 base of HuK for a long time. The 4th base was definitely off, but like you said, HuK was just mined out at that point. It was really difficult for him to remax and keep up after those big battles.
It was definitely incredibly hard for him to actually sustain a larger army in those bigger battles. Next map is going to be Laralac Crest, and we're loading up into that really quickly. By the way, guys, of course, this is a Team Gravity Fight Night, and this is the big match. It's $100 to the first place, $50 to second place. It is a best of 7. Scarlett is up 2-1. She needs to be 4 to something to win, or the same thing for HuK. Just a quick plug also, one of our big sponsors, they're lovely, is spawningtool.com. That is tool with a T, spawningtool.com. Please check them out. They provide a lot of really cool replay analysis, and all of these replays will be up there if you guys want to check out some cool Scarlett strats or HuK strats.
Absolutely. We are loaded into the game. Cross spawns on Laralac Crest. We have spawning in the top right-hand corner of our screen the victor from last game. It's Acer's Scarlett.
She's got that nice little tournament winner column, which the player in the bottom left lacks. Yeah, you got it right there, the SC2 column. The blue Protoss player, representing evil geniuses and also Canada, it is HuK. Currently down 1-2.
That's right. This is a best of 7, so it's no game point just yet. Scarlett's got to win one more to really push HuK into that critical position of being 1 loss away from death. Pretty economic opening over here from Scarlett. So we've got the hatch first into gas, and then finally the pool should follow up here nicely. So pretty greedy overall, but Laralac Crest getting this cross spawn is very fortuitous for the Zerg player. Going to have lots of time to get that drone count on, which all Zergs love very much, some more than others.
Some people don't like it, some do, but we'll see how that actually plays out. For now, it looks like Scarlett's going to go for maybe a quick third. I often do see this on this map now. Does she know it's cross spawns yet? Not quite yet, but once Scarlett does know it's cross spawns, she took a quick third in the left-hand side. It'll do some cool stuff, but what I was say earlier is just Laralac Crest is definitely one of the maps that players know more in the map pool. Obviously, it's been a little bit longer with Orbital Shipyard too, and I'm curious to see what strategies we'll see out of this because it was in the beta, and when I was playing the beta, I hated this map. I don't even know why. I lost at this map so much, and I could never quite identify it. Like, it was just, I lost a lot. But basically in this map, I'm always really intrigued specifically for Laralac Crest. I feel like it's a unique map, even though it's not. It's kind of so standard, it's like cool. Unique.
Yeah, the first 3 bases are pretty nice. You have those rocks to knock down, and you can get them, and you can be pretty safe. The ramp's not too big to the natural. But once you start getting outside of that 3 base range, things get a little bit tricky. Both of your options for 4th bases have really open areas around them, so it makes it difficult to take that 4th base. And a lot of times, like we saw last game, it was sort of HuK on 3 base and denying that 4th base from Scarlett. So if HuK can get him into a position where he can, very safely take these 3 bases and constantly deny the 4th base of Scarlett, he might be able to just take the game in that style.
That is definitely a possibility to deny her 3rd base or 4th base. Scarlett is taking her 3rd base now. It is a quick 3rd, obviously, before her natural is quite saturated. I generally see Roach Ravager out of this. I'm trying to remember who I saw doing this a lot. I don't know if it was Demaga or something, but going for that really quick 3rd, going Roach Ravager to deny the timing attacks from Protoss, and honestly, kind of coming into Legacy of the Void, yeah, Protoss death balls are great, but generally I've just seen more timing attacks than anything work, like Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty.
This is really interesting. She's taking the more exposed base out here. One of the advantages as a Zerg player by taking the more open base is that you have to, you don't have to deal with force fields quite as much. It's more difficult for the Protoss to get into a comfortable position where they can force field, as opposed to this sort of closed off area of the pocket 3rd base over here. So interesting decision, not one that I see very often, but I can definitely see the logic in it. I'm Very interested to see how that works out. Meantime, we've got HuK. Very defensive building placement over here, getting that SimCity.
Incredibly.
Only one opening. So one of the
He
top
almost
areas
cut
to wall off here.
He almost cuts his, like, literally his entire natural base is cut in half because of that, and he could have made a different SimCity, but for now he's being very careful, does not want a big Ling Swell to kill him, and it's kind of random, but as a Zerg player myself, or at least I play a lot of Zerg at the moment, that third base position Scarlett is taking is what I do in my head, is I'd say this is what you do, but I couldn't actually tell you why until then. Like, I know that that's what you do. You take this third base and cross spawns.
Yep, and it is getting that fantastic engine of creep going.
Ooh, three Adepts actually.
Coming in.
3 Adepts will kill a lot of Lings. We have 10 Lings coming out, but the Hydralisk Den is still about 20 seconds away. Thankfully for Scarlett, HuK is going to scout the wrong position first, or at least expecting a third base. And to be quite frank, these Adepts can face the Lings. These Adepts can go head-on-head versus the Lings if they want to.
Absolutely. Head-to-head, toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose. Just going to battle them straight up if necessary. I'm just going to go ahead and take that scouting information down, and still has not scouted the third base, although based on that creep spread you might be able to say there's probably a base over there because you're spreading so much creep to this side. Very likely one of those kind of reads that only really the higher level players can make, and that's definitely within HuK's range of basically reading 13 drones in the way, finishing up there. So Scarlett able to drone up nice and hard and getting into that good, beautiful economy that Zergs know and love.
Scarlett is trying to get that up, and one thing for the Protoss economy of HuK, as we were looking at him just a couple seconds ago, is if you look at this wall, I'm worried once he takes a third base is he can warp in on the other side with things like disruptors and stuff. As you mentioned, Jack Attack, there's only one way through HuK's wall, so he may have a little bit of an issue of a choke point actually coming to the defense if we do see big Ling pushes, whatever that may be. For now, though, pretty much Scarlett's just trying to make sure this Warp Prism, or sorry, the Observer, doesn't see anything too important. Shmoon, actually, she didn't see it. She's just trolling all over the place. But pretty much Scarlett's trying to make sure that no attacks go unnoticed and having units everywhere where she needs it, because as you mentioned, Zergs can get pulled apart very easily on this map.
Yep, and War Prism just kind of hanging out for the time being, going up to 4 bases. Everything's looking pretty nice and pretty passive for both players here. This third base, though, is so late from HuK comparatively. It's just like should be able to hold it without too much problem due to just the passive nature of this game. But
and the map architecture
and again with
too,
that forge,
the rocks.
Again with that forge placing at the third, really interesting.
Well,
so hopefully that doesn't hurt him around this time.
I guess he doesn't want to throw all his tech in the main, maybe, for like a big base trade, but that's the only reason I can think of why you do that, other than just you're doing it out of habit. You're quickly throwing down a forge, and then you're going back to micro, but he's not multitasking, so it's just a exposed third, or exposed forge.
Yeah, seems like
With
an
a creep
intentional
is
decision, because it's
phenomenal.
pretty much the same as last time around. We do have a very sizable force moving out. Blink is not finished yet, but HuK is going to move forward anyway. 5 disruptors. Oftentimes, actually, I see 5 disruptors as the magic number of disruptors that players would get. We do see no more on the way. Going to be warping in likely stalkers from here on out. Scarlett getting ready for the flank here.
With 5 disruptors, I think you can do every like 5-ish seconds is a 21-second cooldown for disruption, so you can kind of keep that going every 5-ish seconds. Chewing out, I don't know. The flank is possible though, and we've seen huge disruptor shots in the previous games. Sadly, that first disruptor not quite good enough. The Lings on the right-hand side are actually going to get almost a full surround on these disruptors. Disruptor shots do go down, but the disruptors themselves are very, very low on health, and there's a full surround of Hydras. Scarlett is going to completely push this back, and Stalkers are going to try to force the door back into into his favor right here. But the concave is beautiful for Scarlett. Scarlett pushes HuK back, and what is HuK left with? 2 disruptors, a couple stalkers back at home. Like I was saying, it's going to be hard to actually defend these bases with that wall in defending his third base.
Off of my creep. Oh my god, just absolutely
Don't
smashed.
tread on
Near
me.
360 degrees surround from Scarlett.
I mean, look at the
engagement.
supply.
Just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, you can see it reflected in the supply. Scarlett's been able to drone up really hard. HuK hasn't found any opportunities to punish. And he took his third base around the time the Zerg was taking their 4th base. So just no real edges here for HuK, and especially after that Big attack going down. He's going to have to find something #creative to get him out of this mess.
He will have to find something very creative to get out of this mess, and he's adding on a lot of gates, even though it's not super creative. Maybe in the end, he's just going to try to adept his way into victory, something of the sort. The Stalker's got to be careful. Too bad for him, there's no resonating glaives, nothing like that. Literally, all he has is blink, blink, whatever it is, warp prism speed, and warp gate. So maybe the key is just to start. Normally, you do see the Protosses have like 3-0 at this point. That's pretty correct, right? Yeah, I mean, not 3-0 to 2-0. You see Protosses getting 3-0 really common, and each
that was a really late forge. He went pretty heavy into that attack off of no upgrades. Was able to get a decent sized army, but couldn't make anything happen with it. So all that investment kind of got thrown away.
Went into 5 disruptors.
Yeah, lost 5 disruptors in that engagement and didn't get any long-term economic damage done, so Scarlett was just able to rebuild that army, whereas HuK was not able to do so quite as quickly. We do have that Ultralisk play a second time as well.
Warp Prism in the natural base of Scarlett, looking for some damage, and maybe it's going to actually catch these Ultras, or at least see the Ultras. 2-2 and Chitinous Plating and Adrenal Glands is on the way with 5 Ultras. Here's the Warping of Zealots, and what are they actually going to kill here? Just a couple Lings, try to buy him time, I guess?
Man, that Focus Fire really on top of things. Scarlett making sure that there's nothing that can be done after this, and that Harass cleaned up so well, and even a little attack cleaned up in the natural base as well. Man, this is absolute domination. Ultralisk coming out, all the upgrades finishing up. She's just chasing down HuK into oblivion, and this base is going to be hard to defend. This 4th base is just going to be tough.
Oh, the Disruptors. The Ultras are kind of like puppies. They're all like running into each other and over each other. They're like, yes, yes, kill the Stalkers. They want to like play with the Stalkers. That's too much Carbot in me. There's way too much Carbot right there.
But yeah, it's like they're big dogs and they have there are cats in the house. And they're just like, oh, I want to play with you, but I don't realize how big and powerful I am. I just trample you and eat you alive. But
one Disruptor shot could be beautiful. Not quite beautiful enough. The Disruptors are looking to do the damage. By the way, Disruptors do a total of 145 splash damage, so actually all 5 of them would be needed to kill an Ultra, especially with upgrades.
Yep. Yeah, those Ultras.
That may be it, actually.
Well, we got 2 Immortals coming out. HuK's really got to find a way to secure this 4th base. That's super important at this point in time. It looks like, though, he might be pushed into a position where it's 3-1, and he's got to win the rest of the games to win the series.
That would be a terrible position to be in, and he's trying to not let that happen, but it's such an awkward game as Protoss. If the Zerg is being so passive, he needs to take a quicker third, get his upgrades going, as I was mentioning. Normally you do see Protoss at like 3-0. Yes, Scarlett knows it, just kind of backing up, holding it, saying, you know what, I don't want to overcommit. I know I can take this, and now Stalker's on this right-hand side, not with the Disruptor, but the Disruptor shots could potentially be devastating, but they're Ultras.
Transfuses. Getting those Queens in there as well, clearing out a lot of these Hydralisk with the Disruptor shots, and right now Transfuses. Now this army is going to get killed off. That's a little bit. That's
the third base of HuK. It's down. The third base of HuK is going to be completely destroyed. The Disruptors do a really good job versus the I love how everything melts and the Ultras are still there. Like everything just kind of does like acid around them. They just break it.
Like what?
I mean, but look at the supply. Even though she lost her entire army, she just remaxed. 19
Same
Hydras,
exact thing as last game. HuK not able to get any damage done, and now we just have this infinitely regenerating Zerg swarm where it's like, I'm going to throw these units in you, and when I'm done doing that, I'm going to do it again. Yeah, and by the way, I can see everything on the map right now because my creep is so good.
Yeah. Go to hit 2 and just go to her vision really quickly, Senor Hawkeye. And I mean, she sees everything. Not only that, she's got 2,000 minerals a minute to about the 700 of HuK. She can outproduce everything. She can just throw it into a meat grinder and
throw Ultralisks at him all day until he's dead. Don't worry about a single thing at all. It's totally fine. Keep your, parasympathetic nervous system nice and relaxed. As we watch Scarlett hopefully not throw this game. That's really all it comes down to. If Scarlett loses this, it's going to be a big blunder.
The thing is, even though these are small forces that are being
destroyed, those were 2 really big Disruptor hits.
Not only can she remax, but she's been attacking on 2 different sides at the same time. There's a lot of Immortals, but I don't think they're going to be enough. And 27 workers going down. I think this is GG. Scarlett, 3-1, 1 game away from victory. HuK He's got a long road ahead of him if he wants to make a change. And last time they played it was 4-0, so
Oh man.
looking good.
I have a question to ask you. Okay, serious question. Someone in the chat named Drenok has been chatting like
I was
pretty much
trying to
the
figure
whole
that out.
cast.
Yep.
Are you multitasking by typing in the chat while casting? And if so, did you just at yourself in the third person in a chat on a stream? Go.
I did, but also with you. I did at Jack Attack TV, and then I realized, oh, Jack Attack is not actually his name in this. I don't know what his name is in this. It may be. You haven't talked yet, and I was just kind of pointing out that, yo, it's Jack Attack and it's a Drenok. And yes, I do talk to the chat while I'm casting, and I've always
Wow.
done that.
That's impressive. I have to say. I was like, did someone like make an account that just like did Drenok should know about this? But
I've
yeah,
always
man,
done that.
chatting in the chat while casting is like playing while giving commentary. It's just it's one of those things that is cool, but you don't see it too often. And yeah, man,
Make you special.
that does make you special. You get to interact with Drenok in the chat while he's casting. That's like I had a teacher in high school who was what is it called? Ambidextrous. But not only was she ambidextrous, but she could write different sentences on the whiteboard with both of her hands at the same time, and would do so regularly.
That is intense.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was just like,
That's like that's literal multitasking. Like what
Yeah.
I'm doing isn't technically multitasking because I'm
Yeah,
all
you go
tabbing,
back
I'm
and
typing,
forth.
then I'm coming
Right.
forward. That is quite literal multitasking. But guys, Scarlett, game, what is it, 3, 4? This is going to be game 5 on Dusk Towers. I love this map. It's got some really cool aspects and is a phenomenal map in PvZ. Really cool to watch. But Dusk Towers, I feel like Scarlett can take it after game 1. It was kind of a rocky start, but it was like, okay, this is just weird. I'm not actually sure, like...
yeah,
I'm
Scarlett's
not
just,
actually sure to play this out. And then from this here on out, she's been fine.
Yeah, your just large decision making is showing up HuK in a major way here. Just sort of being able to always have the edge economically, making some trades that are sometimes questionable, but being able to bounce back from that pretty much all the time, denying the right bases at the right time, and just keeping her economy flowing for these past 3 games has just been... HuK's not really found a way against it. And a lot of his aggressions are just, you know, wax on, wax off. Just get out of my face.
Whoa.
You know?
That is some good analysis. And a lot of it comes down to being very decisive. Like Scarlett says, you know what, maybe my meters can kill you, maybe they can't. I'm going to A-move them, and not A-move them, but I'm going to attack you, whatever. In one of the earlier games would be Stalkers. She said, I'm going to go for Ultra. She goes for Ultra Hydra. She doesn't deviate. It's very just decisive moves. Here we are, though, on Dusk Towers. By the way, I don't know what graphics setting that Hawkeye has. Actually, in any graphics setting, I'm on low. The actual tower in the top middle has a, what is it called, a lens flare on it, if you look at it. In the top middle.
Oh, yeah, I
Well,
noticed
top
in
left.
the...
Go down, and to the left. No,
yeah, it's a legit lens flare.
just a
on
little
the,
bit down. A little bit down. Just,
on the
no,
tower.
just
You
down
can actually
slightly.
see it in the mini-map. It's
Down.
pretty wild.
Down. Down. That
There
tower
it
right
is.
there.
There's the lens flare. Bam! Lens flare tower. You heard it here first. That is the official lens flare tower. Actually,
I think it's
in
Dusk
the
Tower.
that is the Dusk Tower. It must be. If you look in the what do you call it? Yeah, because that tower is down, eh?
Tower's dead.
Yeah.
Eh? Eh?
Yeah, for sure, eh? Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, before that happens, in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player currently down 1-3. It is HuK. Eh?
Oh yeah, eh? And in the top right-hand corner, we've got Scarlett. She's coming from Canada.
Eh? What were you saying about the lens flare, lad? No, I'm not even talking in Canadian now. Canadian.
Oh yeah, it's, you know, the lens flare is pretty good.
Lens
Not
flare.
bad.
Or no,
Yeah,
yeah,
man, I
going
can't
down.
even-
Here's
can't
a
even
hatch
do it
first
well.
into the pool. Actually, gonna not be getting gas here. I don't like
Yep.
the decision not to get gas. I like speed, but you know, can't really do an
Watch
accent
your
right
gas in the way, you know what I mean, man? It's just like totally, you know, en route gas.
Just a quick third.
Yeah, pretty quick. Wow. On a 2-player map, nonetheless. Intense. Let's check out the other side of the coin here. HuK playing relatively greedy, but the greed is in favor. It's been out-greeded, if you will. HuK has been out-greeded by Scarlett.
And I feel like HuK is the greedy guy. He's the guy that's like, hey, I'm gonna go for like 4 hatch. I'm gonna go for 4 next. When I first got into Legacy of the Void, I wanted to know if you could go 3 Nexus before Gate. I really wanted to know that. I really wanted that to work as a viable strategy. 3 Nexus Gate.
And you can do it, but most of the time you will die. Small, tiny pieces, because you will get attacked by anything at all.
By like 6 slings, and you'll die because of the 6 slings. Because the Zerg was like, I'm going to be a little bit aggressive here now that we finally do see gas. And Scarlett putting herself in an economic lead in the previous games, or at least in game 1. This is what she tried, but this is on a much more okay map to... Not okay map to do it. This is on a much more... You understand what you're doing. She knows her position, and I think she's going to be able to take it again. I'm not calling it this early, but she's looking so strong versus HuK.
Yeah, absolutely. And apparently I called you out on something, and I'm reading it all the way later in the chat. I do not know how you do this keeping up with chat thing, because it's delayed. It's like crazy. We have a
called me out on me keeping up with chat, is what you called me out on.
Oh, I suppose so. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it's calling you out. I think it's like calling you up, being like, hey, do you want to go out sometime? You know what I mean? So it's like fluffing you up and making you awesome. It's my job. In any case, we got the 2 Overlords over here getting ready for that Pincer Overlord scout attack, as is usual. And, you know, HuK going for the basic same strategy, but he is going to need to get some damage done this time around. And it sounds very John Madden of me to say that, but it is the accurate scenario.
I feel like John Madden was never like, this ball, he's got to get the damage done if he wants to get the ball in the end. I can't even think what John Madden sounds like.
John Madden's like, you see what they got to do here? They got to score more points than the other team.
Got to run around. They got to run. They got to make feet. Understand me? More points. Yeah. So how you ever seen a cartoon? Wait. I gotta explain.
I've never seen a cartoon actually. Go. I want to hear it.
Okay. A cartoon is really cool, but there's a little cartoon of a sports broadcaster or a sports journalist saying, "How did you win the game?" And the football coach says, "Well, my team got lots of points. We pointed very well. I think they believed in themselves, so we outpoints the other team. And in the end, the other team didn't have quite as many points as we did. We points quite well." Oh, wow, that is amazing. I never realized that. Yeah, we're a real point scorer, this team.
Every interview ever. 5 gates on the way. Looks like HuK is once again going to get aggressive on 2 base. Just because you see the 5 gates doesn't mean necessarily that HuK can't take a third off of this. Definitely possible. But as we've seen, HuK has been the aggressor in most of these situations. So far, the game that HuK has managed to win has been the one with the successful early on aggression, but well, we are setting up for a third here, and it looks like we have enough money. Maybe HuK doing a little bit of changing gears, getting this 3rd base instead, and some speeding their way across the map in the meantime. God, that creep spread is so beautiful. Holy crap. Look at it. It's like artistic even. They're like perfectly spaced.
They are perfectly spaced. Are these lings actually looking for an angle into the force field? Sadly, the force fields are good. The whatever they are, sentries kind of spazzing out within those force fields, a little bit epileptic shock.
Yeah, I actually just call them force fielders because they're the things that do the force field. That's what they do, right?
Force fielders.
You know, we're casters. We cast. They do
Centriers.
force fields. They're force fielders. Everyone knows.
Oh man,
that.
these lings could go. These lings could dive in. Sadly, HuK does not see this lings. By the way, this is Spire for
Totally unscouted. Oh my God, they're just
Scarlett.
outside division. Moving in.
Oh, they find 2 prey.
Yeah.
Oh, they feel so good, but in reality, they don't realize there's an attack heading their way. They're going to dive into this at 3rd base, and the Nexus has been canceled. Triple photon overcharge, double-ish. They're running back home, and the Spire is done. 8 Hydras out. This is what she did in game 1, and this is when HuK won. He went versus Hydra. He went, what was it, versus Hydra Muta, and I do not think Hydra Muta can work for Scarlett. Jack, we gotta believe in her though. Can she make it? 2 disruptors coming out. How good are those disruptor shots?
These splits are going to have to be phenomenal. And 3 Hydras go down. Really can't afford to be losing anything at this point in time. The army size is just huge. The drones are being pulled. Wow.
Force fielders, force fielding. Sentries making sentry thing. That's like pointsing. Force fielders, force fielding. Stalkers are stalking. Hydras are hydraing. They are
Ooh,
all
no, it's
day
getting chased
long.
off pretty well
Oh,
here.
they're actually getting really.
That's
Oh, they chased down
disruptor,
this.
nicely done. The DPS from the Hydras is absolutely insane, running through here, and it looks like this is going to be warded off. 8 Lings and 10 Hydralisk on the production facilities behind this. This has allowed HuK to secure a third base, but it is still very, very much on the way.
Is that not after he canceled the first one? Just to
Yes.
make a mind game? So really, either way, he's still down. He's amount of minerals, and did he kill? Wait, did he kill anything? He killed 8 workers. That was it. And now, this is the point where it's like, cool, Hydra Muta is cool, but only if you survive the timing attack, which is normally why you see players go Roach and then Reactionary Ravager. But in this case, no. Scarlett does her own thing after she survives. I'm gonna make one Muta and just kind of, it's gonna be my friend Carl. With a K.
Poor lonely Muta. And here we go. Nice force fields here, mitigating a lot of the damage. Oh, and I love that, by the way. The disruptor shot goes through force fields. Really wild. This is really rough. Getting caught out of position here because the Hydralisks are super slow and can't really retreat well off creep, but looks like they're going to be able to get some sentries.
Do you have Hydra upgrades?
Yes, indeed, we do. We do indeed.
Muscular augments are done so they can pursue. And by the way, the reason they can go through force fields is Blizzard was like, well, we kind of want force fields to not be quite as strong anymore. So, we'll just let things go through them now, especially Disruptor, That I lost a game because of that. When I was playing Zerg and I was like, cool, he force fielded himself in, he can't disrupt me.
Yeah, Blizzard, instead of saying we'll get rid of the force field, in Legacy of the Void, realized that force fielding as a main staple of play was a little bit too strong. Decided to offer a lot of counterplay options for all three of them.
Ravager, Corrosive Bile. Yeah, wait, what does Terran have? I guess Liberator, maybe? No.
Terran has Liberator.
Siege tank drops, I guess.
Movable siege tanks. And
this Warp Prism. And sorry, not to interrupt you, but just earlier on, you were mentioning that the only way HuK has been winning is that early damage is the Warp Prism harass. But this game, they've been 100% shut down because Scarlett has been able to go the composition she wants. Muta Hydra. There's not that many lurkers though, and how the disruptor shots. Ooh, what I'd love to see is what I've wanted to see before when I've seen this and it doesn't quite work out, but since there's so many adepts with his main force, if the Stalkers blink forward or something, let the Mutas actually assassinate the Disruptors. They have a chance right here. Oh, the chance to focus the Disruptor down before it does any damage.
Being very patient here is Scarlett, looking for openings, looking for guaranteed damage, not overextending. Very important.
Oh, the Mutas, meat
grinder. A little bit of a misrally there when you egg hotkey. And here we are. Yeah, egg hotkeying. It's when you hotkey your eggs instead of waiting until they come out to the rally point.
Oh, I'm imagining someone using like an egg to hit their keyboard, like control, and like it just went weird. All the Mutas are there, so a huge disruptor shot takes out a couple Hydras and Queens. There is spines. There is something trying to get up right here. What is that? Is that a spine? That was a spine, but it's not going to quite be in time. The Mutas on the other side of the map, and the Mutas desperately need to be back here, taking a little bit of the damage of the Stalkers. Actually be able to mitigate this attack, but he is all in. Scarlett is only 1 game away from victory, but so is HuK. Well, technically 1 game away from evening. Actually 1 game away from not even.
And we have 13 more Hydralisks on the way, but will it be enough? Now, keep in mind, 28 workers have been killed during this, and even more getting killed. The Mutas getting damage done all of this time. But the problem is, this force of HuK's is just so difficult to deal with, and these Hydras just coming out 1 or 2 at a time. Oh my God! That's a huge disruptor hit right there. If she can hold. No, she can't. That's it. GG. Well played. HuK hangs on. He's 2-3 now in the series.
Scarlett did lose game 1, which was on Prion Terraces, the gold base. She tried to do something wacky, and then games 2, 3, and 4, she was able to bring it back. And in that last game, that is how she played on Prion Terraces. I feel like just don't do Muta Hydra. Don't try to do that. I think it works if you just don't try to do that. Or in that last engagement, her Mutas were going for the base trade. They killed a lot of workers, but even if they were with the main army, Jack, I don't think it could have done it. I think there needs lurkers. There was just some part of that composition that wasn't quite there. Something to actually take the damage, which maybe that would have been the Mutas taking and kind of confusing the Stalkers. Stalkers shoot up at them, whatever. But I feel like it was an awkward composition, even though it looks really cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on there. In that composition, there's nothing to tank for the Hydras. Hydras have really low hit points, so tough to take straight up engagements. Now if you have that critical mass of units, you have way more than your opponent, or you have a good surround. The the units, the Hydralisks just rip through gateway units in a major way. So you can be okay with that, but she got caught in too many positions where she never really accumulated that critical mass of ground units to defend, and doing what she could with the mutas, getting lots of damage done, forcing HuK basically into that all-in situation. But in the end, that main army of HuK was not take-outable, as it were.
No, the date was not possible. Scarlett wanted to make it happen, but they said, sadly, we live far away.
Yeah.
I know I've talked about this a whole bunch of times randomly during the stream, but watching No Regret v Scarlett last night, everyone in chat, all random, everyone in chat was like, "You should ask Scarlett out." Like, I hope you realize we live in different countries. Like, I hope you realize this is a thing.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things that you have to worry about. And long distance relationships aside, we do have spawning in the bottom
Close distant relationship on this map.
Corner of our screen. Yes, quite close spawns, rush distances in this map. We have the blue Protoss. It's hot.
And his pink opponent on the other side of the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. It is Acer's Scarlett. I give all props for that name to Jack. I wouldn't have thought of it, but I understood it. We are both very nerdy, as everyone should be in StarCraft, but I feel like we are especially because we know what IPA is, the Indian Pale Ale, and all those things.
Yeah, man, the Bridge of Khazad-dûm is real. Hopefully we get to see some Ultralisk battle something on... I don't know, what would be Gandalf? Okay, Ultralisk is obviously the Balrog. Okay, what would Gandalf be as a Protoss?
I guess a Lurker? No, for the Protoss.
Probably High Templar.
I guess the Adept or High Templar. I feel like I feel like High Templar,
Gandalf?
definitely.
Yeah, Gandalf's
Mothership Core?
High Templar.
Would a Mothership Core teleport home, suicide into it? I feel like if you really want to make a nerdy reference, it's not in the movie. You're like Glorfindel v the Huge Dragon. What's the dragon's name? Not, you know what I'm talking about? Do you know Lord of the Rings lore? No. Gigantic Lord of... It's not in any of the movies, it's in the books.
Yeah, but we do have, in any case...
Ancalagon. His name is Ancalagon.
Yes.
It's Glorfindel the Ancalagon, I think. Or maybe it's something else, but... I was trying to go nerdy because I thought you would understand.
By a flock of 30 mutas, because that's how giant the dragon would be, basically a dragon made up of mutas, and that would be the StarCraft equivalent, 30 mutas. And
in real life would be scary. That thing's your size, and it's got one big town. It's just, this is scary, man.
Yeah, man, glaive worms bounce to you and your friends. So if you're hanging out with your friends, you all get glaive together, and you're like, "Oh man, step away from me," and and it causes division in your relationship. It's tough, man. It's tough. The glaive worm is a very divisive force. You have to watch out for that. But in any case, we do, of course, have the lovely probe running away from the fantastic Zerglings.
maybe a better Bridge of Khazad-dûm is one probe via an Ultralisk, and the probe gives its life and throws the Ultralisk off of it with him.
Yeah, or we get the Legacy of the Void trailer edition where the Archon is fighting the Ultralisk on the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. That'd be sick.
Oh yeah, and the Archon is I wish Ultras were that good. I mean Archons, Kappa.
Yeah, man, Archons were so ferocious and frightening in Brood War. It's oh my god, he's got Archons. Oh, it's an Archon. But now it's sort of Archons, I guess they tank a lot of damage. Okay.
By the way, I think we see a pretty quick hive for Scarlett, but on the other end, I've also seen the 3-minute hive for more Roachworn type stuff. But maybe that is going.
Yeah, but in any case,
I meant 3-minute layer.
Gateways. I wasn't going to let that fly, but looks like Hawkeye's on top of you on that one. In any case, gonna go ahead and set up this wall in just like before, being nice and safe, getting that little open, empty space available. And
I just gotta say,
you have to say it.
That I called the Roachworn before she put it down. I said, you normally see a 3-minute layer with Roachworn, and then she put down the Roachworn. I just felt really good. I was very on the calling bandwagon.
Good job, buddy. We all believe in you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This match, we have Draenor representing the Zerg. Representing the Terrans, who are not on this map. Terrans are going to be conscientious objectors to this particular conflict.
Oh, they love this map. Terrans
and
love this map. Don't you lie.
Oh yeah, no. I was not the map, but the matchup. Just not being here, as there are only Protoss and Zerg forces about. But we've got a Warp Prism. We got a bunch of gates. We got no third base. Welcome to HuKland. And he's going to be scouting through with the
HuKland.
Not HuKland, but HuKland. Very similar. You could say HuKland if you were, if you're from around there. Be like, oh yes, HuKland. Live, east, north, south, HuKland, of course.
Ooh, the Ravagers going in, and actually, wait, did they see no, they cannot see the Warp Prism, they cannot see anything like that, and Ravagers have a very hard time actually gunning down Warp Prisms, but at least with his aggression, the best defense is a good offense, and Scarlett's going to try to do that, but...
Wow, actually got hit with the, that's embarrassing, gosh. Getting hit with the Ravager shot. HuK looked away for a moment, and that was it. But I mean...
He gets it from the Warp Prism.
Yeah, these Ravagers are so paper thin here. Really aggressive play here from Scarlett. A little bit interesting, moving away from the style.
If she gets rid of this pylon, she breaks through. If she kills this left-hand side pylon, she can actually break through. She's got to kill it.
She's building more roaches. Roach speed is about to finish this first disruptor
shot takes out its own.
Oh my god, the disruptor just killed his own workers. Not so good there. Oh man. The disruptor is just off in the side, can't do anything, and the main thing is not even that it killed a worker, but that the cooldown is going to happen for another 5 seconds. And
Scarlett
oh my god,
is one game away.
It's really important. This is Scarlett's chance. She's breaking through all the roaches coming out, and Immortal on the way, but will it be out in time? Very, very unlikely, especially because there's only 2 pylons left powering this area. We've got the disruptor shot out. Wow, what a disruptor shot. That may have been what HuK needed to get this Immortal out in time, but it looks like, realizes that that's going to happen. It's going to try and focus down this pylon before the Immortal gets out, and the Immortal, oh my god, just barely chance to save it.
The Warp Prism could have done a power field around it and it would have came out.
Oh my god. You're going to go for a WCS run. It's going to be great. It was brilliant, though. Seriously, that would have been like top 3 plays of the week for sure.
It just came to me in a vision. By the way, Scarlett is just a few seconds away from being the winner of the 39th Team Gravity Fight Night and getting $100. I feel so proud of myself. Stupid Warp Prism. HuK, what are you thinking? He could have made it. He canceled it. Oh my word. I am amazing.
Let it come out and then picked it up with the Warp Prism, and then he would have had a Disruptor and a Warp Prism and an Immortal and top 3 control, and he would have been totally all set.
I mean, potentially he could have been, but he does have the Warp. I'm gonna actually message him afterwards. Do I want to do that?
Hey, you should have done this. Yeah, I'm sure he would appreciate that.
I think it's really cool though. I'm like, have you never? I feel like no one's ever done that. Like, I'm legitimately thinking. I do that all the time. I'll set up cannons. I'll be a jerk and set up cannons, and I'll just do it for fun. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But send a probe with a Warp Prism, then start making cannons in someone's base. This is like Archon mode, Scrubs 4v4.
Yeah, man, whatever it takes. Get those victories, get those W's, chalk them up, you know what I'm saying? Another castle in the bag. We got these roaches moving in here, decent number of stalkers to try and take them down, but more and more and more roaches coming in. Again, we see Scarlett with double the supply of HuK. This has been the story of this matchup, just raw force of will and numbers coming through here. Oh, look at that, almost getting the Warp Prism as well.
So low on health.
These Mutalisks are, in the very least, just going to stop any sort of counterattacking via drop from HuK, and sort of his last hope. He's down to 6 mineral patches, pretty soon to be only 4. And he's going to move out with 2 disruptors here. Looks like, ooh, they were on hold position there for a second, but HuK didn't fire any purification.
The Mutas can go. There's no pylons for this Mothership Core to survive if the Mutas want to do a dive. As you were saying, though, it's all been brute force, and the Disruptors have been the things that have changed the matchup. 2 Disruptor shots in a row. The first one lets HuK survive, and the second one may possibly be the game-winning. I don't know. More Mutas on the way, but there's no roaches left.
Dropping Spine Crawler, looks like it's going to be too late. These Disruptor shots have to be phenomenal for this to work. HuK has pretty much no economy at all. The spine crawler is going to go down. We might get into one of those moments in time when, oh my god, it's another.
Oh, the disruptors!
This is a chance for
Two more queens! The mutas, everything is being pulled. It is drones, it is roaches. This is it for one of the players right here. 58 army supply of Scarlett to the 26 of HuK, but can he hold on? I don't even get it. There's the GG Scarlett. 4-1, or 4-2 becomes the 39th Team Gravity Fight Night winner.
And congratulations to her. Wow, just a really cool series. A lot of ins, a lot of outs. It was all over the place, having a good time. And thank you so much, especially to HuK for stepping up, coming in at the last minute to fill the slot. Really appreciate that. And of course, we have Scarlett to thank as well for giving us amazing games and for just playing StarCraft. There was a while where she wasn't doing that, and all of us were very sad. And the fact that she's playing StarCraft makes many, many of us, not just me, very happy little nerds. And so we're hoping that she continues to play lots and lots of StarCraft going forward in the future. Hawkeye is on the production. I'm Jack Attack. With me is Drenok. This has been a wonderful cast. We are sponsored, of course, by Azubu. Please follow as well as Spawning Tool. Thank you to all the players who played tonight. We had True Fantasy, Neeb, Iagas, Scarlett, and HuK. And last but not least, we'd like to thank all of you viewers at home, because without you, we would be two awkward nerds saying silly jokes into an empty room.
Is that not all we are? I have this little saying that really I'm hanging out with you two guys, hanging out with Hawkeye, who laughs at the perfect times, and then Jack Attack. It's us three hanging out, having a fun day. Thanks so much for tuning in. As Jack Attack said, this is the Team Gravity Fight Night. Please check out spawningtool.com if you want to learn more. And also, Team Gravity Fight Night, the next one is going to be in a week. I believe Hero's going to be playing that. Yes, I'm putting that, Hawkeye. I read the little thing. Shh! I had a perfect introduction. Now you ruined it. But Team Gravity Fight Night will be in a week. But before that, this weekend actually, on a Saturday and Sunday, we're having an RSL. That is the Rival StarCraft 2 League tournament. Jack Attack and I will be casting Sunday. Tempo and I will be casting Saturday, I believe. And that'll be at RSL SC2. And those are really phenomenal North American players are going to be on that. And in that, if I can find who's going to be playing to plug that before we go. While we do that, can you plug our other lovely sponsor, the Spawning of Tools?
Yeah, of course. We plug the heck out of them. They're properly plugged. And as such, I feel okay going ahead and saying that you can follow me on Jack Attack TV everywhere. So that's facebook.com/JackAttackTV, twitter.com/JackAttackTV. I even do music, so it's SoundCloud. Actually, it's bandcamp.com/JackAttackTV /releases. And if you want to support me monetarily, I do StarCraft content full-time. Have been doing so for 3 years with the support of the community on PayPal, jackattacktv@gmail.com, and on Patreon if you want to make a recurring subscription. We do all kinds of cool subscription stuff with that. So it's basically my rice budget, my food budget. Keeps me alive, keeps me casting with awesome people like Drenok, and keeps me making silly YouTube videos like you saw in the break, as well as the occasional serious one as well. So, really appreciate all of your support, and definitely send me an email, jackattacktv@gmail.com, and tell me why I suck, because I'm always looking to become a better human being. So any facet of me sucking, you can go ahead and type it into me in an email, and I will very graciously read it and accept your fantastic feedback as you've always had for me. Drenok, do we got those players?
We do. The players this weekend that Jack Attack and then Tempo and I will be casting on Saturday and Sunday at RSL SC2, and on RSL SC2 on Twitch will be Creature, Namshar, Panda Bearme, Epic, Jon Snow, Billy, Bly, and Strange will be playing. So really good North American ladder players, and it's going to be a fun tournament. A couple $100 at stake. Please tune into that. That'll be Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. EST, I believe. Is that correct, Hawkeye? Thank you. 4 p.m. EST. This has been Team Gravity Fight Night. Just to plug myself, I'm at Drenok on Twitter. I'm Drenok on Twitch. And then on YouTube, I'm also Drenok. But been putting off actually getting myself a URL, so you can just look up Drenok in the search bar if you really care enough. And also, as Jack Attack said, you can email me or tell me how much I suck so I can improve, and that is both an innuendo, so you can't tell me how much I suck. I do suck, but, we'll see. Any feedback is greatly appreciated, and Kappa Ross right there, because I need to throw a Kappa in before we finish. This has been Team of Gravity Fight Night number 39. That is Jack Attack. Our observer in runner of streams is the one and only Jake Hawkeye Cole. Guys, have a lovely night. See you tomorrow. Technically, yeah, tomorrow for some more SC2 action.